is your 1 minute call. Make your way back to the tables. Survivor Bounty players, make your way back to the tables. This is your 1 minute call.
Alright, look at this way. Smile, friend. Great guy. Good luck.
This tournament's so small, so it comes split up. Like normally between late reg and FT, it's ages.
No, but just like hypothetically, like you rego at the start, you get say 6 or whatever, right? You rego you rego 5 minutes before rego closes, you get like 6, and then they just give you the rego's close, take some more.
Yeah,
and then we get on a per hour basis, you get way more people
when we're in the money as well.
Kang has the same, right?
You got 10 when you're in the money?
No, we get 10 when we're in the money. So we're going to have about 40 times.
You get more in the money?
I hope not. Where's the button star? We don't know.
Probably you.
But Kale, Titan is the same. You get more after
Running good.
Alright guys, congratulations on making it to final table. As you know, today we'll be paying top 5. Top price today is $332,250. This is all men and women. All the best. Shut on the deal, please.
And welcome back to our coverage of the 25k International here at Voco Brisbane. As you can see, we're down to the final table. 9 players remaining in what is a $764,000 prize pool. Some of the best names in Australia and throughout the world joining us here. As we're down to 9 players left from a field of 34, playing for a top prize of $332,250. We have had most of these players on the table at some stage today. And alongside Braden Jinks for the time being, and Harvey will be joining us shortly as well after a deep run in the Shane Warne Celebrity Bounty event. See, we've got Gavin Shu, businessman from Guangzhou in China, against Saucy Zhang from New Zealand in this hand. Also on the table, Vincent Hong, Alex Linsky, Gary Lin, Malcolm Trainer.
She's not going to be in here for too long, Craig. I just let Harvey know that there was a steakhouse upstairs and he had absolutely no idea. So I just told him to go and get a feed, cure the hangover, and he'll be back shortly.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing Harvey's voice once again tonight as we take you through the final table of this 25K.
A few familiar faces, as you said. I hope Yoon hoping to redeem himself after that epic bust out hand in the 15K. $330,000 up top to the winner.
Nice. Well, hopefully I don't follow suit here. 900. Gonna be a while, but 5K. 5K. Still getting the 2K, huh?
As Yoon was one of our mega late registrations. I believe spun that up to a couple of start stacks, if not more than that. As Sozia has picked one of the worst times to turn her hand into a bluff. Be able to get behind it. That heart working. 10 of hearts more important. Could be the only cards we really want to hold if we bluff this heart's probably fractionally better, but you can see the ace and the 4 of hearts in Gavin's hand as he is obviously just going to call on the paired board, and Socia lovely bluff, just the wrong time to flick that one in. And that propels to Gavin to over 3.2 million. 3% of the chips in play. So we are in our final table of 9, but it's only 5 paying here out of 34 total runners. 6 of those registered extremely late, not extremely late, as late as you could. 2, I think, are on the final table, those being Yoon Kang and Malcolm Trainer. Gary Lynn bagging 1.7 million overnight. Currently with 5 starts, here is Queen 10's not going to be good enough. I'd love to see, there's a bit of love for Chad in the Yoon today. Love to see Yoon redeem himself after that epic bust out. And of course, Cale Burns, the winner of our $7,500 TLPT opening event. You can catch my interview with Cale on the break. The break after, we'll try and get that one up for you, as Linsky's opting for 3-bet here with a King 10. He's just absolutely relentless, Alex. Can't stop. No matter what, and finds a hand in which inquisitive look over to Linsky. Opting for fold or 4-bet. Just be really tough to find the 4-bet here. He might just pitch this one potentially. And he does. Nice 3-bet there from Linsky. Getting it done with a King 10. As I said, Cale, the man of few words. Anyone outside of his peers, and lucky enough to sit down with him and get 5 minutes of his time. Got a mutual friend of Cale's outside of poker, and he wanted me to put Cale on the spot about his biggest score, that $1.3 million high roller win at the Aussie Millions, 100K buy-in. Took all the boys out for a very expensive dinner for chicken strips at KFC. So as soon as I asked the question, he realised obviously his mates put him up to that one, but took it in good stride. He's a good fellow. We appreciate him sitting down with us, giving us his time. As Yoon's back on the bike here with pocket sevens.
You need the iPad one.
Yeah. It should put a fucking digital thing straight in the belt somewhere, yeah.
You can see the payouts up on your screen there. Payouts. The up tops. Gavin Michoud, the chip leader. We said earlier in commentary, if you joined us, a connoisseur of Mao Tai.
Now, that's not the Mao Tai that you think, is it, Craig?
No, Mao Tai is a Chinese whiskey made from rice. Very high alcohol content, upwards of 70% alcohol up to. Not sure if he's been able to find any in his visit to Australia, but bar is open, and I wonder if he's tried any of our whiskies.
I'll tell you what, they're telling me it's 80% alcohol content.
Yeah, up around, and even I was talking to Alicia, who's the Lord's Poker Tour host, who can translate. She's been doing a lot of help with us translating, and she said it even gets as high as 90%. So I'm not sure what the difference that is between.
Cale's inquisitive here if he fires in a 4-bet versus
340.
Linsky. It appears as if the 4-bet is incoming now.
Yeah,
Love to see that. Kale just a little sus as to what Linsky's been up to in the last couple of hands. His second 3-bet in as many, and Kale having none of it with the King Jack. Kale back on the bike here with the ace-6 of clubs. An effort would be to take out 2 of the 3 TLPT events. The opening event, of course, did go to Cal Burns for just over 200k, and the confrontation occurring here is Malcolm opts for call, and hands interacting with each other here. And we could squeeze some of the time, plays well enough post to just call as well. So let's just see how Gavin proceeds. Chip leader of this table. It looks like a squeeze is incoming. It is. King Queen performs so well here in these multi-way squeeze spots. It's going to fold from Kale, but I wonder how Malcolm will proceed. I wonder if jamming is an option for Malcolm as well. I prefer that over just calling versus Gavin's squeeze here, as this one go, but we haven't heard the end of Malcolm's nines here. I wouldn't have thought. I'm surprised if Malcolm could just rip in the 50 bigs here. Opts for call. 50, sorry, 40, my bad. Gavin flopping a flush draw. Going to be a board in which we're going to continue often, especially with our specific hand. If Malcolm peels another one off here, we've got the 9 of spades working as well. Don't see Malcolm winning this one just yet. Have the best hand here some of the time, I guess, especially versus this squeeze range of Gavin's. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Check back and take our equity here, or keep the foot on the gas. SPR is about 1.2. All options available to Gavin. As he takes a sip of whatever that is. I believe it must be a hot drink with the double cup. For a second barrel here. I mean, it's starting to get dicey if we're Malcolm Trainer. Unsure we can fold just yet, but I said that before when Malcolm was behind and he just binned second pair prior to the break in a spot which many people would, but that's looking inquisitive. Let's see what Malcolm comes with. It's just so hard to continue. I've been surprised either way. Malcolm Trainer just decides to bin the 9s. Of course, we are on the final table here, but 4 off the money. Top 5 getting paid, and I did mention this to the viewers before the break. This might be a quite... It's going to be very high-level play, but quite slow. Players opting for the more passive routes, given that is a 3x bubble. $25,000 buy-in and a $71,000 min cash really changes how we approach these ICM spots when looking at a 3x bubble such as this. So, really excited to see how the best do it. Hopefully just keep you entertained along the way.
Yeah, absolutely stacked final table. I'm not sure if you want to play the guessing game again, but the amount of money list all-time one between these 9 players is amazing.
Let me guess. No. I apologise if you were with us prior when I guessed the other table, but I'm gonna...
We've got 9 players.
All right, we've got 9 players. Okay, so...
Let's start at...
No. I'm the one guessing, Craig. You know the answer. I start where I want to start. Right? Yeah. So, all right. Yoon Kang got about $500,000.
Okay.
Gary Lynn, I reckon it's got about 800, maybe 900.
Okay.
Alex Linsky, 4.5 mil. We knew that because he was on the other table.
4.5 mil, yep.
Yep. Sozia, 3 million.
Yes, very good memory. The previous table.
What am I at now? I'm at about 8.8 million, right?
Yes, perfect.
So Malcolm Trainer's going to be at 1.5. So that takes me to 10.2 million.
Yep. All right.
Now, this is where I'm going to get stuck because we're at 10 million already and I haven't mentioned the 2 highest earners at the table. I might just cut off the tripe and nonsense I'm talking, so we have a few hands interacting here. And Gary, the shortest, no apologies, Zoo is the shortest stack on this table, and I wonder if Yoon has any devious intentions here. Might be really tough to do so given we are covered by Gary's overcall. What a stacked FT. Viewers are rolling in at
players in the standard stack and your blind draw.
Australian
now
Poker
1,000,
Tour
2,000
on
with the
Twitch
2,000
and
big
YouTube
blind ante.
and APT Live over there on Facebook. As if we're ever going to squeeze, this could be one of the hands. If you could just stop with the call though. He is inquisitive. Gary behind might play a factor into our decision, but those eyes scream squeeze. No, oh, he slow rolled me again.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm gonna take a punt and say that this will be the only five-handed hand we'll have from now until the culmination of this event.
Wow.
5 ways, Craig.
You don't often see multi-way pots there.
Especially at a high roller final table.
Yeah, I mean, and they can be very hard to navigate, so see how many chips go into the pot early here.
It's Queen Jack suited. Alex absolutely flops the complete eyeballs out of this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see Alex opt for check here. A spot we want to check nearly all of our range out of position. But Alex will know best. Check jam could be an option we'd come with too, but he does opt for check. I'd love to see that from Alex. I don't think he's going to get what he wants. This could be a hand in which he's going to check through, and we might be seeing a turn here. Let's see how Gary has other ideas. Checks through. What about an 8? No, don't worry about it. So Alex locks up this pot. Actually, I apologise. Gary can still win the 9, but this Jack interacts with a lot of these ranges, especially Yoons. Very Broadway heavy out of that small blind. But Alex Linsky is the one with the goods. You can see why Yoon hasn't tank checked here. He does have that 8. This lead could be more of a function of how our hand interacts here with this board. Our range interacts with this board, apologies, as Kale hasn't snap folded yet, but these multi-way spots are so complicated. Kale not folding. But how does Alex proceed? He's got this board completely and utterly locked. Just remember, we've got those clubs working too. Do we ever come with call multi-way? Be surprised. Alex's image, get away with a lot here, but now it's the time he's got the goods. Let's see what Alex comes with. It looks like just call. Love this. As he now has the 2 remaining plays in the hand drawing dead. What about the case 8, Craig?
It's a spade, but not the 8. So, as you can see, try a tricky one here because they do have, you know, a made hand, but Alex just.
We have to remember too, this likely will go check, mainly because Alex is still uncapped, right? He's going to be checking his whole range out of position on this flop, and Alex can still have all of the really strong hands. Yoon and Kale don't have as many, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this go check, and now it's up to Linsky to pick a size in which is going to be called here. Really interesting multi-way spot. These are so complicated. Not pretending to have any of the answers here for you, or else we'd be sitting at the table, but let's see what size Linsky chooses here. I've got absolutely no idea. Multi-way spots are the wild, wild west.
I think he'll be thinking
Half?
about.
What about half pot?
Yeah, he's trying to think what can get paid, what they have, so he can work out what they will pay.
I mean, thanks Stevie Wonder. You know that's what he's trying to do.
An 8 might pay $225 here.
I mean,
they both unblock clubs, so
you got to think as well. You could have Jack 10, Jack 9 suited, and Yoon opts for all in. Oh no way! This is incredible. Yoon Kang deciding to turn this into a bluff. This is Yoon Kang. Hearts out in the chat for the Melburnian. He didn't even think about that as something's
Is that a misread from the card?
No, of course it wasn't. Obviously, blocking pocket eights is the reason you decided to send that one all in. Get that on the highlight reel. When's that going to be on our APT reels? Yoon Kang. There's a lot of love for Yoon in the chat.
I want to know how much the jam costs.
Puts Alex Linsky to the test.
Yeah, I wasn't really going to.
Oh, that is awesome. I wouldn't be going anywhere if you're a fan of not of an Australian live poker, but poker in general. And we've just seen why, you know, if you've been a fan of poker in the last couple of years, you might be familiar with Yoon Kang's work. You know, he's played in some really high stakes cash games, Melburnian local, just dipping his toes into the water with tournaments, and we can see why Yoon has been on the poker scene for such a long time.
And I was going to say, as Josh has picked up here, it was a very quick fold by Alex.
I mean, what do we beat, Craig? We beat a bluff in a spot that our opponents are never bluffing. And he just ran into the one man that could empty the clip. There's so much love for Yoon in the chat prior to the break because, you know, of course, making a small house deposit worth of a mistake in that 15K, absolutely devastated, but relatively unfazed when I spoke to Yoon this morning about it. Just getting back on the bike and mega late regging this, and pot's going to propel Yoon to well over 2 million chips. What a sicko. I got no other words than that.
Yeah, the hand in the 15K obviously just shows it hasn't affected his gameplay. He's still prepared to go for every spot. He found one there. Made Alex Linsky fold the best hand and do it rather quickly too. So, got to take your hat off for him. Exceptional play.
Might be close to fold on
I can maybe block. Like if I pull behind people, you can fold mine.
So you're at 10.2 million, and you still had Vincent.
I forgot we were still doing that. It took so long.
You're at 10.2.
Who do I have left to guess?
I'm just working out the total hand and mobs, all-time money list, what they all are up to. You've got Vincent Huang, Gavin Xu, Cale Burns, and Quan Zhou.
I'm just gathering my breath after Yoon's incredible bluff there. So I don't know Vincent's total earnings, but they're really going to be quite high. 10.2. Let's go 2.5 for Vince. That takes me to
12.7.
12.7. And who have we got left to guess?
Gavin Xu.
I don't know Gavin whatsoever. Let's just
swap him out.
Let's go 500k maybe. And then who else?
Cale Burns.
Cale's got to be approaching 10 mil. I reckon maybe 7.5 million for Cale.
Okay.
I could be way off there. And my last player?
Quan Zhou, who represented China in the State of Origin International.
Is Quan that one that's had his quite high?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know Quan. Is he close to 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so Quan's got 10 million. So what does that take me to, Craig?
Takes us to about 30 mil.
No, it's less than that.
12, sorry, yeah, 12.7, 17 point, 19.2.
29.2, so
29.2.
I'm at 29 million without knowing about Gavin. So let's just guess I'm going to make an educated guess of $29,650,428.64. Am I close?
Steady.
Yeah, that's not too far off actually. I actually haven't even been able to find Gavin's who's on-handed mob.
Oh, you got to give me that. Give me 29.3.
Yeah. So yeah, Cale Burns has actually got 13 million,
Ah, he got me.
and Kwanju 9.5. So 34 million.
34 million in
US.
total earnings in US.
Yeah, just on this table.
50 million AUD on this table is beyond unbelievable.
And we haven't added Phoebe Yarn on that. Yarn.
Yeah, Phoebe's got another 50k there as well, our dealer. Probably more.
She'll round us up to 35 mil, I reckon.
Oh, geez, Kale 13 million. I should have known that. I felt like 9 million could have been too high just because he hasn't been playing poker for a lot of years, but I actually forgot how much he won when he was playing. So, it's my fault. That's the only one that missed there.
Second only to Michael
Damo. The great man. Even better bloke than he is a player, Michael. Good to see him back in the streets. Took a long break from the game, and 3 years ago to the week, Michael Adamo took over the Australian all-time money earning list.
Is that right?
3 years ago to the week. That incredible run he had in those high rollers.
Certainly or something.
Pursuing other interests is Michael, but he's back in the scene in the last 6 months, and how good's that to see?
If anyone can catch him, I think he's on this table for Australia, Malcolm Trainer. If Cale Burns doesn't beforehand, but
I don't think Kale wants to be honest.
yeah, Michael obviously played 100Ks, 250Ks, and up.
Did notice Michael was actually did say last week that he is looking for an invitation into that $500,000. You know how the businessman needs a partner.
Yep.
Businessman can get a pro player as a partner in that $500,000 buy-in.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't think any of those businessmen will be watching the stream, but if they are, Michael is looking for a partner for that event, and I don't understand why you wouldn't be picking him. Hasn't got a spot yet, but Michael, he's out there looking for a way into that $500,000 buy-in.
So the businessman has to pay for everything, obviously.
Is it $500,000 each? I'm not sure of the buy-in. If
Who won
anyone
the
can correct me, but you
Who won the
can't.
hand?
It's invitation only,
You
so
check
the
raise the spot?
businessmen get their spot.
Check all.
I think it's 16 businessmen, maybe. And each businessman can pick a partner, a playing partner, to get into the event. And as I said,
Well, speaking of, we've seen SJ, Xie Zhang, she's played that event and she invited Jason Kuhn
did you really?
to play the Trident Luxon Invitational. And she played with him. So, should be great to invite Adama.
Let her know. Gary going to defend the ace-6 here versus Gavin. How about we just say it's $50 million in earnings between the table? We are in Australia, we can convert it to AUD.
Yeah.
I don't know.
$35 million in earnings.
Big numbers.
Great.
Gavin Zoo might be the only bloke that we couldn't find
They put a cam up there, right?
on Hindenmont, but he's got all the chips.
Just the way I like it.
Huh?
Just the way I like it.
Was I on the mark with Vincent, by the way?
Vincent Huang, yes. Well, the interesting thing about Vincent is if he was on the New Zealand all-time money list and he represented New Zealand in the state of origin, he would be third. 1.6.
They're both
almost 1.7 US.
It seems low. I reckon if you counted Vincent's online earnings, probably be more than his entire final table combined. No, it certainly was an interesting defend there with the A6, but if you have played against Gary Lynn, you'll know that it's probably one of the best hands he's going to defend. Looking to defend 80 and 90% of hands, does Gary in heads-up situations. Not a man who likes to win those cards. We are 4 off the money. How that changes the dynamics of this final table. Obviously, we are at the FT, but the 5 paying, I did mention to you, it is a 3x bubble, $71,000 for 5th, 325k up top. Just sit back and relax and watch how the best do it. Going to be in for a real treat tonight. I couldn't see how you wouldn't tune in if you're looking to improve the way you play poker and play live Australian poker. So many differences in how we approach the game. Because you know, he just got back to his seat now. I mean, dead. Linsky down to, when I say down to 400k, still got 15 big blinds. More than enough for the Linsky to navigate, but
yeah, I find it interesting to watch, obviously, the elite players that are very well studied, like Malcolm Trainer, one of the best, Vincent Huang, one of the best, Linsky, obviously studied, but more of a feel and just a naturally talented player. And then compare that to the guys like Kang, who's a businessman, but he has been playing really well as well. Just a few handed I've seen him play, so it's an interesting dynamic.
You don't earn 10 million US in poker tournaments if you are some random businessman flicking in 20Ks. It doesn't matter how bad you are if you make $10 million in cashes. You're a player whether you're a businessman or not. I mean, look at actually I will repeat, I'm not sure I'm supposed to, but these businessmen in these high roller events, take Orban Kisiokoglu for example, Turkish property developer, has basically left the game to study no limit hold'em poker tournaments, and he's probably one of the best players in the high roller circuit. And he was just a businessman who started playing higher stakes, obviously because he's successful, but devotes all his time to the game.
Yeah, a number of players like that.
You've got to think too, Craig. If they've gotten to the top of their game in any aspect of life that they've chosen. You know, Kerry Katz obviously firing all of those, probably has $15 million in cashes and whatnot, but they've got to the top of what they've achieved to do, what they've set out to do in life. So why wouldn't they apply that, that tenacity to another endeavour such as poker, which is a really high-level thinking game? There's a reason why these successful businessmen have also become successful players. It's just the same way and they approach life.
Now, even locally, you look at local businessmen like Martin Ward, good mate with Alex Linsky, He's a CEO for multiple companies, very successful businessman. And he's been on the circuit now for a few years.
All poker players in the Spano stacker. Make this your last hand. You're on a 15-minute break. That's all poker players in the Spano stacker. This is your 15-minute break.
Him on some of the feature tables as well. The 1Ks and the 2.5Ks. So
all poker players in our PLO. Your blinds reserved at 400, 800. All PLO players, 400, 800.
He did play this event, Dipper.
Dipper's got more money than anyone in this room combined, times 5. And he loves it. He played that 1K Drakakis Championships, just loves the game.
Yeah. That's what all they...
Yeah, of course not. Oh, yeah.
We were talking some nonsense there, but Gary getting one through. What about the meteoric rise of Gary Lynn? It's been unbelievable. I kid you not, I played 2-5 with him 6 months ago. I think he flicked it in for some fun. And he might have wanted to have made it 2-5, 10, 20, 40.
Yeah.
I played Gary Lynn in one tournament and he won it. That was at the APT at the Gold Coast Southport Sharks last series.
Yes, Axosia is a very successful businesswoman who actually was one of the business people that were in that Triton Invitational. As I said before, that Invitational is for business people only, and they get to pair up with one professional player. That event is coming up. Not sure if I'm not sure if Sozia is going to be in that business invitational. But one last plug for my mate. If anyone is looking to get a demo into that event, I'm not sure why you wouldn't. He is looking. Maybe I'll get Sozia, tap her on the shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be a great team. She took Jason Kuhn at the last one. That was in London. And they finished 7th, so...
Well, they cashed, did they?
Yeah, they did, yeah. Actually, she's played it twice. The first time she finished 7th. I believe the one she played with Jason Kuhn, she finished 22nd and they still cashed. I don't know how, I think there was some, not sure how it worked. It said there was 91 entries, 27 re-entries in that event at $262,000 each.
Okay, so it's $500,000 combined. So each businessman and pro puts in half. All right. But you've got to be invited. Who was the businessman and pro that won that one?
Bryn Kenny won it. I'm not sure who his partner was. Talau Sakershi.
Man,
he was the
he's one of the best players in the world.
He was a businessman.
That's just ridiculous.
I mean, that's where it does come a bit. Some of these businessmen, you know, technically they're businessmen, but then they go on to become the best players. So
maybe we'll on the break I'll give Sosia a tap because I don't know why, but can't get into the event. As this is beyond an unbelievable flop for this 3-bet pot. We have an all-in. We're gonna have a confrontation here. Sorry guys, we're just yapping away, trying to keep us interested, but the players is more interesting than us. But it's good to go through those results of those tournaments. Gary really doesn't want to let that one go, and I mean, I wonder if we can ever fold here if we're Gavin. Getting just under 3 to 1. Do we have the best hand often enough? It looks like he thinks he does. And he said, I think he said,
We do have an all-in call on our TLPT $25,000 buy-in. Features
Zoo
table.
is all in versus Gavin
Requires
Zoo.
9, 8 of clubs.
Gavin
versus
drawing
Gavin's
extremely
7, 6
thin.
of spades on a board of 10 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 6 of clubs. Turn to Queen of Hearts.
And we're outside of there, and it's going to be the last 5-9. All 6s left in the deck. That ain't one of them. And Zoo will double up.
One gets the full double up.
Mighty 8.
Rosie Dipper is a very successful property developer and manager. He's done extremely well
More than Sunday.
for himself, and it's good that
I know. Sunday.
he's basically at every single series. Always looks the part, does Dipper, and so good to play with. Really, really love playing with Dipper.
And you always know he's in the room too. He's
You
just,
certainly do.
he's such a lovely guy. He'll always say good day. He'll chat to you for
他们两个朋友
time for
之间
everyone.
基本上洗钱。
洗马，洗马，洗马，以前犯法。
He loves battling the top pros as well, which is why he jumped in this event. Didn't make the final table, but
他敌对呢，
Free flop. Free
I
flop.
guarantee he still would have enjoyed himself.
Three-way free bet. Sunday and Sunday.
我开个6万5，我开个7万，
Also had a dealer change from what's looking as well. And
16万5。
Taylor Pickles.
This tournament will be over in half an hour.
I was going to say,
19万5我也敲了。
they call her the Terminator or something, don't they?
60场
She deals some coolers normally. So watch out when she's dealing to you.
啊，6期。
She's been on the circuit for a number of years and one of our best dealers. We're fortunate to have so many of them.
刚才我赢的那把上，我就350万。
So Gavin Jew takes the initiative in this pot as the chip leader. You can see Alex Vinsky, the short stack currently, Queensland captain. State of Origin. They tried, they came, they failed. But, it was a great event. State of Origin, a lot of emotion, a lot of banter. All the players did really well.
对，我还
Come
正
along,
顺了，我打掉了。
take part in that. And we'll see that one back again next year for sure. So popular.
气风潮，我大忙防守，我让我发2张风潮。
We're looking at 3 State of Origin players right there. Vincent, Gary Lynn and Malcolm Trainer.
转牌。
There's another 2, Dale Burns and Alex Linsky. And Burns out. So 3 more.
不跟
So,
我不跟了。
and if you include Cecilia, makes 7 on this table. 7 Origin players in the final round.
你不跟，我要跟进去，我就被他接掉了，他就接我了。自由开也安慰我，订酒店、订机票。有额外奖励吗？没有。额外奖励明天自动开。你们休息多久啊？
I think Gary would be a little bit intimidated in any way playing this final table, like being
You're in the commentary to give some,
明天晚上不打天气
you
吗？
know, to help us along, not just talk pure nonsense. Gary Lynn could walk into a bodybuilding contest with Arnold Schwarzenegger and not be intimidated. He doesn't care, mate. He fires all stakes at all times.
I saw him playing some table tennis the other day, and they were giving it to him.
我总认真开吧。
But yeah, he does give everything a go. Poker, right? I don't mean in the way he'll step back. He's never going to show any fear at all. But
We were yapping away in commentary before, Craig, about the all-time money earnings of these players. But whilst we were, you got to remember Gary found the 3-bet versus +1, 14 effective for the A7 suited.
他这个冠军多少钱？
I reckon that sets the tone for the rest of the FT and answers your question. If he is intimidated, which he is not. Gary here with a clear value bet and Kale. 7 suited there. A little spicy. A little spicy as Alex down to 11 big blinds. Our shortest stack. Of course, the victim to Yoon Kang's incredible bluff. I think that hand really showed why Yoon has been such a regular in those big games for such a long time and has caught the tournament bug like the rest of us.
Malcolm Trainer's got his hat back on too.
Yeah, no, we can recognise him now as Gavin will open this one up.
75. One fold. Two fold. Three fold.
每次我都是打到他这个第三。
See if Sozia decides to defend this one. I'd be surprised if she didn't. Kevin Zhu opening the King 10. It's TD extraordinaire in the background, Ryan Wynn, keeping a close eye over things.
All poker players in the Spano Stacker, this is your 92nd course. Start taking you to seats, please, as we're about to commence.
这不热闹。我们几点休息啊？没有晚饭钱。
Surprised the former chips didn't go into the pot here as Sozia turns Gavin dead. Still with top pair. Looks like Sozia comes with just over half pot, 2/3. Very dynamic board, but unsure we can fold our hand just yet. If we're Gavin, it'd be very impressive if he did. Gavin does come with call, and we'll see a river. Now that is one river that Gavin can get away
Poker
from.
players in this banner stacking your blinds resumed at 1200, 2400 with the 2400 big blind ante. All poker players in this banner stacking, you can shove
So
up
you're
the deal,
going to
please.
have to continue here, but for what size, we're about to find out. Does changes things, can really alter the size in which we choose as we lead the turn. Sozia looks like she's gumming large, and that is all in with about a big blind behind. Espiari's just over one. Sozia decides that nearly all of it is enough, and Evan does have a decision here, but this is a card in which he'll be able to get away. It's probably saved him. Of course, Sozia leaving Gavin dead on the turn. Just mull this one over. Do we even think about wasting a time link? Too sure. We put that in. A lot of those bluffs that Sozia can construct on the turn and now a straight. Really hard to be able to put this one in. Wonder if we've got any head massage EV that can help us get away here. Looks very inquisitive. He doesn't like it, but
Respect,
I don't think he wanted to waste another time bank there as Top Bear hits the mark.
Respect, nice bluff.
As I believe the ace-8 suited bluff from Yoon has now hit the table. Linsky leans
so
over
fast.
Cale Burns and says, nice bluff. I believe that's what he said, and they're now talking about, let's see if we can get a little bit of insight.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd lead the turn with that. Said I didn't think he would lead the turn with that. So, I thought you said no bluffs. Five way.
So we just heard Linsky commenting there that he didn't think Yoon would lead the turn with the hand that he had. Really just putting him on flop sets. I think it was Jack 8-4, and Alex thinking that the only hands in which Yoon could lead there are 8s and 4s, or I think that's what Alex said, but the champion knows when he's defeated, and he just leant over and commended Yoon on that incredible bluff. It was great viewing. If you weren't watching us at the time, I'd recommend you to go back and have a look at that one. And if you don't, we'll have it on our 8PT reels. One will be a feature hand coming up later tonight. I think I just heard Alex say, not many bluffs there. Of course. If anyone's going to find them, it's Yoon Kang. a lot of you tuning in across all three platforms. There's no other way to be able to build our viewership here than televising a final table like this as Kale comes with call. Crazy how
PLO
Vincent
players will
finds the
blind
check
her up.
raised here,
All
and
PLO players,
Kale
blinds are now
not having
500,
any of it,
1,000.
defending the pocket
All
fours.
PLO players,
Really
500,
interesting
1,000.
card now. Does Vincent continue to barrel this? Feels unlikely. We really wanted to pick up a little bit more equity. Any club, 9, jack, 8. 8 might not be a card we decide to barrel, but the ace of spades nearly could be the worst hand in the deck to be able to continue here if we are Vincent. Wonder if Kale's card's just too good for us. If we come with small, it really feels like that one makes a lot of sense, and Kale tends to agree, but I'm not sure how small that is. Does come with 1/10 pot. As the SPR less than 1 driving the decision to go small there is very well played hand by Kale. Showing everybody why those $13 million US has gone his way in the last 10 to 12 years. It's evened out a little bit at the top. Cavan back under 3 million.
Like if he jams on me, I consider call.
Might call.
Huh?
I might call.
Yeah.
I have a lot of just check calls, so I bet almost so much jack. So.
Like a card in which Gary can start to construct some bluffs.
I mean, like the river bluff, 8 to turn. But
Opts for check.
I saw it gets to the river and just has like no bluffs, so it's so hard to find them.
They're still talking about Yoon's incredible bluff with the ace-8.
Yeah.
Let's have a
What are
listen.
you gonna do? Can't call.
Queen Jack clubs. Top pair flush draw, trip flop.
I mean, I don't think I can ever call this, you know, I can call this and come down.
Gangster.
Yeah, sick. Respect, respect.
So I think we tried to get a bit of a listen to the Vincent's breakdown of that hand, and the only word I heard then was gangster, and then Linsky replied with respect. So that just about sums that hand up. Linsky there, I note, said I probably should have checked. Obviously no one's behind, so it would have been pretty incredible, but tell you what, you know you've probably made it in poker if Vincent Wang is calling your bluff gangster. Little do they know, Kang's been a gangster for a very long time.
No.
That'll be a lucky card.
Give 1 second. I told him straight away, I'm like, I'll come out.
Tell us what it is.
Yeah. I was like, you're pretty out. I thought he had like 9 out.
Yeah. So you can have a calling on. You can have a calling on. Just a fucking bad bluff catcher as well.
Yeah, I feel like you have to go.
Still gross as fuck. Like it.
Still talking about that hand, I love listening to this analysis.
Ace suited, which is like ace jack blocks ace eight as well, which is like the only bluff, right?
But like, I think it's not. I think Queen Jack just...
Gonna really ramp this one up, see if we can hear in.
I mean, I kind of think I should just check it still. See, I like the only hand. But him to be bluffing relies on him to leave the time back. Him bluffing relies on him to leave the time back. Just having lucky.
I think you can do it, but you have to get more.
10 seconds.
You did that like 15 and pop something.
I mean, it's not saying like bluff it, it's me ace jack. Blocks it. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I think it's like never the best hand, but he could use it as like a bluff. Impossible to solve that spot, obviously.
Couldn't get a lot of that, but very rarely going to hear the likes of Cale Burns and Alex Linsky breaking down a hand together. I just thought the table mic was close to them, see if we could get anything extra, but I did hear the word under bluffed, and there's no doubt about that. As King Queen is going to be good enough here for Vincent. as he prays to whatever god he prays to before he put his chips in the middle. A wry smile, and it could get looked up here by Malcolm
The
Trainer.
emoji.
Be praying to the poker gods, I reckon.
I mean, that spicy shirt certainly is something. I just wonder if we've got too much hand here for Malcolm. He is covered by the big blind. Could change things, but be surprised if this didn't go in and Malcolm does rejam.
I just wanted to know how much you jammed for because I have no idea. It could be 600, it could be
Alright, who
1.5.
plays in our TLPT 25,000 international
Vincent is
final
going to be
table.
all in
We
and a
do
risk
have
versus
an
Malcolm
all-in
Trainer.
call. We have
We
Vincent
have
with
to
King,
note
Queen
that
off.
Gavin
versus
actually
Malcolm,
also
ace,
had
nine of
King Queen
diamonds.
in the big blind.
Vincent is at
So
risk.
we've got at least 2 outs folded for Vincent Huang. Malcolm Trainer, 10 of diamonds is a good window card.
Clubs, 10 of hearts.
I mean, there's
four
another
spades.
king folded as well,
10 of
so
diamonds,
it's going to be
10 of
3
diamonds.
outs twice for Vincent.
你没打比赛啊？
As Gavin just let Vincent know
There's
that
the king of
he
clubs.
folded King Queen, but it doesn't matter. And now Malcolm's down to 1 out only. And she's absolutely
There's the
there
7 of
for
diamonds. Vincent,
Vincent,
gets the full double
who
up.
isn't going to know that he only had 3 outs, one of them coming on the turn, leaving Malcolm basically drawing dead to 1 out. And Vincent is back in the hunt.
Just want to double a bus for this stupid peanut butter.
Apparently it worked.
Yeah, Vincent's shirt looks like it's come from the Daniel Nielsen wardrobe. Daniel Nielsen, of course, another well-accomplished Australian pro who we saw at the WPT Australia, and he's been over in, I believe he got second in the WSOP Bahamas main event.
He did.
He loves a bright shirt like that, and yep, praying the poker gods worked. Beat that king and stays alive.
I think Vincent's had. I think Vincent has had less beers than Daniel at this table.
That's
than,
right.
The form Daniel was in at the WPT was something to behold. It's pretty amazing, Craig. You've been out of the booth for some time. They're still talking about Ewan's bluff at the table. Kale and Alex breaking that down amongst each other, but Imran in the chat asking what makes Alex fold there now. Obviously, these multi-way spots are very complex and interesting, and there's absolutely no way we can give you the answer here, but we can try and get close when Yoon starts to construct his bluffs out of the small blind 5 ways. There isn't going to be many of them. We're going to be our range is going to be really, really strong, especially when Alex is uncapped after he checks the flop. So once Yoon leads out of the small, the range is incredibly strong, and Linsky calling and value betting half pot on the river, his hand simply at that point is a value bet, and even then it sounds crazy, but Linsky mentioned that he probably should have checked the river. Now, that tells you why Linsky snap folds to the jam from Yoon. Because that range is really strong on the turn, once we decide to jam the river, it's a spot in which there are basically no bluffs other than the exact hand that Yoon had. Maybe the other combos of ace-8 suited, but that's about it. And once we bet half pot on the river and face an all-in, we have to remember that Cale Burns had both players covered. So when Yoon jams, he has to get through Cale and Alex. and literally is only representing pocket 4s or pocket 8s. I don't even think that is a line Ace-Jack would take when Linsky checks the flop remaining uncapped. So once we have Queen-Jack there, our hand most of the time is basically going to be dead. That's just about the best breakdown a simple mind like my own can give you, but trying to just give the viewer some type of semblance of what Alex was thinking. Because if we can give you a full breakdown of that hand, we'd be sitting there, wouldn't we, Craig?
Blinds are now 1,500, 3,000 with a 3,000 big blind against
Alex would have been in that spot a number of times, and that line, as you said, is just super strong. And he's got to fold.
I think if Alex has been in that spot 100 times, 99 of those times, he would have called and been wrong. Yeah. It was just, and whilst you were off the stream, Vincent called the gangs. They obviously found out half an hour later that Yoon had the ace-8 of diamonds, and Vincent said Yoon was a gangster. So I said basically we could retire from poker if Vincent ever called one of my hands gangster. Full credit to Yoon Kang there.
Yeah, certainly worth making a clip of that one, and I've marked that one down. Just a reminder, we do have Poker Media Australia doing some blogging for us on their website and Facebook, so check that out. Josh Emmerton, the reporter for us, updated the blog for the Warne Bounty and also the TLPT events, so go check that out if you want to see some clips and some information for some other events that have been happening. Say that you wanted to bet money that we don't seem at a 5-way hot the rest of this final table. We've already had a third person calling, and Kale's looking at his options as well, and then we've got Alex Linsky in the big one, so we could see it, but we don't, so you're 100% right.
If you are in the room, I know there's a lot of players out there on their phone. If you are in the room and we get along, you and me, which discounts about half the players in the room, we have a 1 hour block of commentary left for any guest commentators that want to come in. Dean Schneider, I saw you out there, recent Centurion champion for $250,000. If you want to come in, we do have an hour block. Just send me a message on Facebook and get a few guest commentators in for the night. As
I just saw Dean Schneider, he just jumped in the PLO, and Hamish Crawshaw as well. Jared Thatcher, he's in the main event flight, and Jade Mitchell's on another final table. Our two ambassadors.
Okay, well that rules out.
So
there's two in that list.
I think we do have a break in about 10 minutes.
Do we?
More or less.
Maybe I might go on the hunt for a fellow commentator. We do have a 1 hour block free. If you're around, come jump in. Even if you don't like me, maybe we can settle our differences in the booth.
I wouldn't imagine too many people don't like you, GT.
There's plenty out there, mate. Don't worry about that.
I mean, it was good to have Matty Ginn join us last night for a
He was great.
chat.
He was great. He really was. Australia's best mixed game player.
And we have had a few different players come in throughout the week so far. And
Australia Poker Media
Poker Media Australia is the blog.
Apologies. Poker Media Australia is the blog. Josh Eminent does a fantastic job out there, clipping those hands, live reporting these TLPT high rollers. And it's been with us from the very beginning in the chat, helping us out. It's been incredible stuff. Don't know what we would have done without you, but if you are interested in Poker Media Australia blog, it is over there. Just Google Poker Media Australia and find that on social media as well. Gavin's going to fire another clip here. It's going to be met with a bad news. Opts for small though. So Gavin's just going to send the chips over and we share a wry smile. Alex, the short stack at our table here, 9 fresh ones. 9 fresh biggies.
That's actually chip topping. What is that? That's chip topping. Huh?
Apologies, that level caught up on us as Phoebe counts down the stacks, and that will mean we are on our dinner break here at the $25,000 TLPT Super High Roller main event, Super High Roller event, 25K International. It is a 45-minute dinner break, so players will go and refresh, get a nice feed for 45 minutes, and I'll be in here with you until the culmination of the event. Braden Jinx here with someone. Hopefully we can fill in a 1-hour commentary block after the break. So if you are around, let me know. And we will see you in 45 minutes time for the resumption of the $25,000 TLPT International.